Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 25th of July for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but please stay with me. I will then go through each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces to give you in much greater detail all the key dates and influences particularly relevant to your sign. Now this week sees the most glorious new moon of the whole year because it's in Leo. Now Leo is governed by the Sun, so this really brings the radiance of the Sun into conjunction with the empathy and the receptiveness of the moon. Now in terms of the moon, Cancer is the most influential new moon of the year, but the Sun really here is asking us to embrace our talents, our flair, our joys, our self-expression, and it also forges near to a perfect 120-degree angle with Jupiter, the planet of growth, in the other fire sign of Aries. It just so happens that Jupiter begins a retrograde on this day, which will last for 4 months, and it is going to be reversing during that period through to the 23rd of October, back into the sign that it traditionally governs of Pisces. But this next month does give us a wonderful opportunity to showcase the things we really enjoy, to meet with the people that give us the most pleasure. And it could, if you're single, also be significant as far as your love life is concerned. Now later this week we do have a once in a 15-year event, so this is very rare, and this sees the North Node reversing in the sign of Taurus, which it entered on the 18th of January this year, meet up with the advancing Uranus. Now it depends on exactly where you are in the world. It could be right at the end, the 31st of July or the 1st of August. But then on the next day, the 1st of August or the 2nd of August, in the early hours in the UK, Uranus then goes on to become exactly side by side with Mars. Now the last time the three were together was in 2007 in the sign of Pisces, and we had the subprime crisis. Now if you would like to know more about Jupiter's retrograde and also this very influential link between Uranus, the North Node and Mars, please see my special videos beneath this one, which you can click through to join me as I explore both topics in much greater detail. But certainly in terms of all that energy at the end of this week, it is in another fixed sign of Taurus. Now Taurus is about foundations. It's about being aware of how we consolidate our early progress, which comes through the sign of Aries. So it can, obviously it's ruled by Venus, so it can have a great appreciation of the good things in life. Now that can be the aesthetics of homegrown vegetables or organics, or it could be something that's much more luxurious. But with Uranus in the mix, Uranus is the planet of truth, but it's also the planet of change, and Taurus is a sign which is most reluctant to really embrace change. It really appreciates continuity. Now in a technical sense, Uranus is in its full in this sign, but also Mars is in its detriment in Taurus. So this is not necessarily a time where we should be too rash with our resources, but with the North Node meeting these two planets, the North Node is almost like the collective outcome of all our behaviour over the last 15 years. And it could be said that's very much to do with consumerism or our connection in a more intimate way with others. And of course Uranus can break free of restrictions as much as highlight to us new innovative approaches. So I think in general, particularly with Venus forging a really lovely link to the trio of influences in Taurus, we're really being asked to be much more mindful of how we use all our core resources. So that could be down to how much water we use. It could be down to if you're in the southern hemisphere, how we manage your heating at this present time. It could be about how we approach food. Are there ways that we can actually recreate our approach to the making and enjoyment of food? So all these things are going to be big topics, but I think it's also possible we are going to see continuing headwinds in terms of interest rates, devaluation of certain stocks. Obviously, digital currencies have really slid in recent weeks, and I think there is going to be the potential for instability. So this glorious new moon in Leo is reminding us that if we can find ways to have fun and be with the people that really count, and that doesn't necessarily have to be through spending money, it can be by being quite ingenious or just having the pleasure of hanging out, enjoying music, telling jokes, visiting places that are fun or stimulating, or being more imaginative in our approach to using our spare time. So an interesting week for sure, but certainly a very powerful one. Now, if you would like to access more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data in terms of time, date and place of birth, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your days. And also within my special 30% off package, you can get a 12-month personal forecast. These charts are totally individual to the person they're produced for and can give searing insights, help us to understand some of the negative patterns that have gone on in our lives and grow beyond them, but also seize opportunities by having a better understanding of ourselves. Finally, I've crashed through the 100,000 subs mark. Thank you if you've already subscribed for all your views too. If you've yet to do so, it would be wonderful to have you with us. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. So Scorpio, your week commencing the 25th of July forecast sees that new moon in the most prominent location. This is urging you to seize the moment, to reach for the proverbial stars. Now, if that sounds a little bit over the top, maybe, but of course Jupiter's in the mix, and Jupiter is in your sector of how you actually do a job, so the processes, the practicalities, whereas the sun and the moon are in the part of your situation where you actually talk to people in the wider world, negotiate with potential employers or customers, and represent yourself in a very self-confident way. So it is a very helpful new moon. Of course, Jupiter goes into retrograde, and that's basically just saying to you that in the months to come, not to be too free and easy with the help you give to others. To be honest, it may seem counterintuitive. Jupiter can see us kind of exaggerate things. It can see us be very generous. It's just saying trim back a little bit and get a nice balance between what you give and get. Not always easy, but that's really the encouragement that the Jupiter retrograde is giving you. It's also saying to make sure that you are, leading your life in as healthy a way as possible. Now, of course, Venus, the planet of love, is now in your sector of truth. And later this week, it goes into a sextile with Uranus. And Uranus is a planet that's very much about stripping the layers, getting down to what's really authentic, and it's in your sector of relating. Now, it's possible that if you're single, you could encounter someone at the end of this week who has an electric energy that absolutely fascinates and grips you. And it could be that you can really relate very well with one another. But of course, Mars is on your 7th house at the present time, your traditional ruler. That can make you more assertive, but it could also make you more demanding. The more demanding and assertive bit is probably more in a longer term relationship. Equally, the North Node could deliver a point of reality around a relationship that's been ongoing for some while, and maybe you're being asked to be more conscious of how another person views your interactions. And later this week, someone could actually be really quite bitingly honest as Mercury goes opposite with Saturn. So they may actually tell you in a very frank way something that they feel about your situation, or is it going to be you who's going to be much more blunt? Either is possible. So there's a lot of chemistry and energy around your relating sector at the moment. But I think really in terms of your more worldly interactions, this is a great opportunity to set your intention around improving your financial sector, improving your work prospects, but most of all, demonstrating to people your unique talents and garnering much greater acclaim and attention for them.